Did you know that Africa, the second largest continent on Earth, is splitting into two? It might sound like a plot from a science fiction movie, but it's a geological reality that's unfolding as we speak. Yes, the African continent, a massive landmass covering over 20% of the world's total land area, is slowly but surely splitting apart. This isn't happening overnight, of course. It's a process that has been in motion for millions of years, and it's all due to the relentless forces of our planet's geology. At the heart of this incredible phenomenon is something known as the East African Rift System, a colossal geological rift that stretches more than 3,000 miles from the Gulf of Aden in the north to Zimbabwe in the south. This rift system is the primary driver behind Africa's gradual division, and it's a fascinating subject we'll delve into deeper as we journey through this topic. Now, you might be wondering which parts of Africa are most impacted by this split. Well, the countries that sit directly atop the East African Rift System are bearing the brunt of this continental divide. These countries include Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia, among others. These regions are experiencing the effects firsthand, with visible changes in their landscapes and the creation of new geographical features. But don't worry, this isn't something that's going to happen in our lifetime. The splitting of a continent is a process that takes millions of years. But it's a fascinating testament to the dynamic nature of our planet and the ever-changing world we live in. So what is this East African Rift System, and how does it cause a continent to split? The answer to that question is a journey into the fascinating world of geology, tectonics, and the incredible forces that shape our planet. Let's find out. The East African Rift System, often simply called the Rift, is a gigantic crack in the Earth's crust stretching over thousands of miles. Imagine a colossal scar, a tear in the skin of our planet, that extends over 3,000 miles from the Gulf of Aden in the north to Zimbabwe in the south. This is the East African Rift System, one of the most remarkable geological features on Earth. This rift isn't just a simple surface wound, it's an intricate system of seismic and volcanic activity, reaching down into the very heart of our Earth. It's so deep in some parts that it descends into the mantle, the layer beneath the crust. But what causes such an enormous rift? It's all down to the movement of tectonic plates. Our Earth's crust is made up of several large pieces, like a 3D jigsaw puzzle. These pieces, or plates, are always moving, albeit very slowly. In East Africa, the Nubian and Somali plates are moving away from each other. As they move apart, the land in between drops down, creating this vast rift. The East African Rift System is more than just a geographical oddity. It's a geologist's dream come true. It provides us with a unique window into the Earth's interior, something that's usually hidden miles beneath our feet. It allows us to study firsthand the forces that shape our planet. Moreover, this rift system plays a significant role in shaping Africa's stunning landscapes. It's responsible for the majestic Great Rift Valley, with its towering escarpments and deep freshwater lakes. It's the cause behind the hot springs and geysers that dot the region, and it's the reason for the abundant mineral resources found here. While it might seem terrifying, this rift system is a natural process of our ever-changing planet. It's a testament to the dynamic nature of Earth, a world that's constantly evolving, remodeling itself, creating and recreating, in an endless cycle of change and renewal. But how does a gigantic crack result in a continent splitting into two? Well, the answer lies in the dynamic nature of our planet's crust, which is divided into several large and small tectonic plates. These plates are not static. They're constantly moving, albeit at a pace slower than the growth of your fingernail. Imagine the Earth's crust as a giant jigsaw puzzle. This puzzle is made up of many pieces, which we call tectonic plates. These plates fit together, but they're always moving, sliding past each other, colliding or pulling apart. This movement is driven by the heat deep within the Earth's core, which creates convection currents in the molten rock or magma below the crust. So, how does this relate to Africa splitting? You see, Africa sits on the African plate. However, in East Africa, there's a boundary where the African plate is pulling away from itself. This is known as a divergent boundary, and it's here where the East African Rift System is forming. As the plate continues to pull apart, a gap is created. This gap, or rift, gets filled with material from the Earth's mantle, which rises, cools, and hardens to form a rift valley. Over time, these rift valleys can grow wider and deeper, eventually leading to the creation of a new ocean basin. In the case of East Africa, the African plate is splitting into the Somalian and Nubian plates. As these two plates move apart, The rift valley between them is slowly filling with sediment from the surrounding highlands. Over millions of years, if the process continues, the rift could deepen and widen enough to allow the ocean to flood in, effectively creating a new sea and leaving a smaller African continent behind. This process is slow-moving, taking millions of years, but the evidence of change is already visible. So, while we might not be around to see a new ocean forming in East Africa, we're witnessing the early stages of a continent in the process of reinventing itself. What are the signs that Africa is splitting, and what does the future hold for this vast continent? This is a question that piques the curiosity of many. Well, the signs are quite visible, and they're as fascinating as they are monumental. For starters, the formation of new lakes is a clear indication of this continental split. These bodies of water, appearing as if out of nowhere, are the result of the Earth's crust slowly pulling apart. Over time, water from underground sources or rainfall fills these ever-widening gaps, leading to the birth of new lakes. Then, there are the valleys. Wide, deep, and stretching for miles on end, these are no ordinary valleys. They are rift valleys, formed due to the continental crust being stretched thin, eventually breaking apart and sinking in between diverging tectonic plates. And let's not forget the volcanoes. Their presence is a telltale sign of the rift, as the thinning crust allows magma from deep within the Earth to reach the surface, forming these fiery mountains over time. Now, what does the future hold for Africa? Well, scientists predict that in tens of millions of years, the East African Rift System will have completely divided the continent, forming a new ocean basin. As the rift continues to widen and deepen, seawater from the Indian Ocean is expected to flood in, creating a new sea. This means that future generations might be looking at a very different map of Africa. The eastern part of the continent, including the Horn of Africa, could become its own separate landmass, a new continent in its own right. But remember, these changes won't happen overnight. They will take millions of years to fully manifest, an eye blink in geological time, but a near eternity for us humans. While it's hard to imagine, future generations might look at a very different map of Africa. This isn't just a futuristic fantasy, but a reality slowly unfolding right before our eyes. This natural phenomenon is not without its effects on the people and the environment. The splitting of Africa into two continents is reshaping the lives of local communities, wildlife, and the environment in ways we are only beginning to understand. Imagine being a local farmer waking up one morning to find a massive fissure has split your field in two. Your way of life, your livelihood, all suddenly in jeopardy. This is the reality for many living along the East African Rift, where the Earth's crust is literally pulling apart. The impact on wildlife is equally significant. The Great Rift Valley, a product of this continental split, is home to a rich diversity of species. As the landscape changes, so too must the animals that inhabit it. Migration routes are disrupted, habitats are altered, and the delicate balance of ecosystems is put to the test. But it's not all doom and gloom. This geological phenomenon is also creating new habitats and geological features. For instance, the formation of new lakes within the Rift Valley provides fresh water sources for both humans and animals. The split has also led to the creation of fertile volcanic soil, a boon for agriculture. However, these changes are not without their environmental consequences. The splitting process releases significant amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Additionally, seismic activity associated with the split can lead to destructive earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. While the split is causing a great deal of upheaval, it's also providing scientists with a rare opportunity to study continental drift in real time. Every new fissure, every seismic event offers a glimpse into the inner workings of our planet. It's a reminder too of the Earth's dynamism, of its constant, ever-changing nature. As we continue to study this fascinating occurrence, we gain a deeper understanding of our dynamic planet. Our knowledge is expanding, and with it, our ability to adapt and thrive in a world that is constantly evolving. The splitting of Africa may be a challenge, but it's also an opportunity for discovery.
Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.